Welcome to Mothering from Within, the podcast where we dive into the heart of parenting during those magical yet challenging first few years. I'm Kaili Ets, a mama of two, a pediatric occupational therapist, and your guide on this beautiful journey of motherhood. Every week, we explore the wonders and hurdles of motherhood with curiosity, we gain clarity around our babies, and find the courage to trust our instincts. If you are a mama who wants to do motherhood your way, confidently, courageously, authentically, then you are in the right place. So grab a cup of tea, tuck those little ones in for a nap, or bring them along for the ride. It's time to get curious, gain clarity, and unleash your courage to do motherhood your way. A gentle disclaimer. Please do not consider anything discussed on this podcast by myself or any guest of the podcast to be medical advice. The information is provided for educational purposes only and does not take the place of your own medical or healthcare provider. Today, I want to talk about something that's real for many mamas, if not all of us out there, the identity shift that comes with motherhood. It's powerful. And yeah, sometimes it throws us for a loop. Our brains are literally wired to tune into our babies so fiercely because, let's face it, their survival depends on it. But what happens when we feel like we're losing ourselves in the process? If you've ever felt like your identity is being overshadowed by, or perhaps has been lost altogether by the title of mom, you're not alone. When we have a baby, we are essentially also being born as a mama. This entry into motherhood is a big transformation, one with a lot of responsibility and many changes physically, mentally, and emotionally. In this beautiful and demanding chapter, it's not uncommon for us to become so focused on mothering and parenting day to day, feeding, soothing, and nurturing our babies, and basically keeping them alive while also managing family and friends who want to come over and see the baby, as well as the various appointments to support your baby's health and development. It's easy to get so consumed that we suddenly put everything else in the back seat. We lose ourselves. We set aside our own needs and desires, and we start to lose sight of who we were before having a baby in the process. Whether that was a carefree, spontaneous person who loves life, went to yoga a few times a week, out for dinner and drinks on Saturday, and coffee on Sunday, or perhaps you were someone who loved to go to the gym regularly, went and got massages or other body work, and regularly got together with friends. Hello, book club. Maybe you loved curling up on the couch with your partner and watching movies, or having lazy Sundays in bed. Chances are many of those things have now changed, or perhaps gotten lost altogether now that your baby is here. And if you have older children, perhaps you are listening and thinking, oh my gosh, I still haven't gotten myself back. This loss of self is part of what lends itself to us feeling burnt out, frustrated, and perhaps not loving motherhood. It can leave us wishing and grasping for something that seems just out of reach. Now, don't get me wrong. Being mom is a huge responsibility, but it also is a huge honor and likely something you have dreamed of for a while. But it's not your only title or role in life. Remember the person who danced until the early morning hours, who went to yoga or loved to garden? The one who could get lost in a book for days? She's still there. It's easy to feel like that part of you is on permanent hiatus once the baby arrives, but here's the kicker. It's not. The journey back to ourselves doesn't mean stepping away from the role of mama. Quite the opposite. It means integrating who we were with who we have now become. We have had a significant life change when we become a mama, and we can't just decide to go back to pre-baby life. As much as you want to fit into your favorite pair of jeans, that may or may not happen. Instead, we need to honor this change and find our new normal as a mama, but also as more than a mama. It means honoring our needs alongside those of our children and recognizing that self-care is not selfish. It's essential. Taking care of ourselves should be a priority, just as we prioritize taking care of our baby and everyone else in our lives. And I dive deeper into this concept of self-care for us mamas in another episode. But for now, I want to put this out there. It's crucial to carve out some me time alongside your daily job of mothering. It doesn't have to be a weekend away, although that's nice. It could be as simple as a solo coffee run or getting lost in a chapter of a book each night. It's about rekindling the sparks of your pre-mom self and celebrating them. Rediscovering and reclaiming our identity is a process that can enrich our parenting. It can allow us to feel more whole, but also to model self-respect and personal growth for our children. In the whirlwind of motherhood, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by conflicting advice and societal pressure. But deep down, you know what's best for your baby. I have a free hypnosis meditation that will help you reconnect with that inner wisdom and trust yourself to navigate motherhood with ease. You can download this from the show notes. So let's dive into a little exercise that's about finding balance and giving ourselves a big dose of self-compassion. I want you to grab a piece of paper. We're going to get visual with this. If you're driving or have your hands full feeding your baby, then just listen and think about each of these things in your mind. You can always come back to this episode and exercise when you are in a place where you can write things down. All right, I want you to write down all the roles you have in your life, the roles that shape your identity and make you, you. If you're listening to this podcast, likely you are a mama. But you could also be a wife, a partner, a sister, an aunt, a boss, an employee, a colleague. And don't forget things like being a friend, a bookworm, a yogini, a CrossFitter, painter, gardener, or even a New Yorker. No role is too small. If it's important to you, it deserves a spot on that paper. Now, next to each role or identity, rate on a scale of 1 to 10 how important each of these roles are to you. How much does any one role matter to you? Next to each of those numbers, write on a scale of 1 to 10, how much time or energy are you actually giving to each of these roles in your life? How much of your energy is to motherhood, towards being a sister, or towards painting? How much time is spent gardening or doing yoga, etc., etc.? And this is not about judging where you're at. It's about recognizing it. Once you've got your list, try to visualize it as a pie chart of your life. How much pie does each role or piece of your identity get? Sit back and really feel that out. Is there a mismatch between what's important to you and what's actually getting your time? This is your moment for some self-compassion. Now, motherhood is a big deal, and it might be a huge piece of your pie, thereby compressing the other roles outside of motherhood, and that is totally normal and okay. But here's where we get proactive. Pick one role you want to sort of bump up a bit, something that will make you feel more like you. What's one thing you can do this week to nurture that? Maybe it's as simple as reading a chapter of a book or planting a new herb in your garden. Think bigger too. What about over the next 3 months? What is one thing you can do to nurture this identity that you want to boost up? And what about over the next year? Set those intentions. Now think about what would help you feel more balance in your life. What would help you prioritize nurturing this one thing? Can you plan ahead and negotiate day-to-day parenting with your partner? Who can you ask for help? Perhaps a friend, a family member, a mother's helper, or a doula. What will help you make time for you? Now, think about how you will feel when you do make time for you to nurture this other piece of the pie. Do you feel that? Doesn't it feel lighter? Perhaps like a breath of fresh air. Doesn't it give you a little bit of hope? This isn't just about keeping a tiny human alive and thriving or surviving motherhood. It's about nurturing the incredible woman who makes it all happen. It's about thriving within motherhood with all the complexity, joy, and fulfillment it brings. Remember, reclaiming your identity is not about finding the old you. It's about meeting the new you, the one that made space for a brand new and very important role in your life and is now figuring out how to balance the old with the new. I would love to know how you are reclaiming your identity. So make sure to comment below or DM me on socials at The Holistic Baby Guru. Thanks for joining us today on Mothering from Within. If today's chat sparked something inside of you to explore your motherhood journey deeper, the Mothering from Within Collective is waiting with open arms. This program offers an intimate, high-touch coaching journey designed to empower you with the confidence and clarity to embrace motherhood on your terms, free from guilt. Get curious about your parenting values, gain clarity on your baby's sleep, development, and more, with comprehensive courses, one-to-one support, group Q&As, and a nurturing community. This is your invitation to join a community of mamas doing it all their own way. Supported, seen, and held. Visit the link in the show notes to learn more about the collective and how we can walk this beautiful path together. Until next time, stay curious, embrace clarity, and let your courage shine.